everyone. Today we are going to be talking about Asia, which is a very large place. So we're going to be splitting it up into 4 different places. So we're celebrating it for Asian Pacific Islander Month. We've already covered the Pacific Islands. This is all Asia. There's also sometimes some of the top here is also counted, but I don't have it on this map for some reason. So we're going to split Asia into 4 groups. So we have Northeast Asia, which are like these countries. So we have Japan, Korea, China, and Mongolia. We have West Asia, or the Middle East, which are the countries here and up here. And then we have South Asia, which are the countries around here, which are India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh. I think that's sometimes Afghanistan is also counted as part of South Asia, I think. And then we have Southeast Asia, which is the Philippines, which we'll talk more about, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Brunei, and East Timor. Oh, yeah, I think that's it. Sometimes Taiwan is counted part of Southeast Asia too, but sometimes it's counted part of East Asia. And the countries in the Middle East or West Asia are Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, a lot of countries ending in stan, sometimes Pakistan, Iran, which is a big one, Syria, which we'll talk about later, Iraq, Jordan, sometimes they're not here, Yemen, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Palestine, Israel, and Lebanon. There are some other ones that are they're smaller, like I think Qatar is considered part of the Middle East, but those are some of the bigger ones. All right. With that, let us get started. So I will stop that, and we will start with let's start with East Asia. So we'll start with the biggest country in East Asia, China. So let's look again at the map. I don't know why I switched away so quickly. China is this big green one, right? Other countries in East or Northeast Asia are Mongolia, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, sometimes Taiwan, and Siberia, which is part of Russia, which is why it's not on this map. It's because Russia is both in Asia and in Europe. So sometimes they don't put it on maps of Asia. So China. Welcome to China. Where is China? If you could float high above the earth, you would see huge land areas surrounded by water. These land areas are called continents. Most of the continents are made up of several countries. China is a huge country on the continent of Asia. China lies next to the Pacific Ocean, right? We just talked last week, or 2 weeks ago maybe, we talked about the Pacific and the Pacific Ocean, where there are a lot of islands. So this is a picture of China. So it's the big one. You can see the yellow one. It's very big, and right there, the line is the Great Wall. It has 4 capitals, and a capital is usually the biggest city, but it doesn't always have to be the biggest city. It's the city where most of the government stuff happens. So the 4 capitals that China has had, because China is very old, are Xi'an, um, let's see, Nanjing or Nanking, um, and I think Shanghai might have been a historic capital of China, but the current one is Beijing, which is the one in the north. All right. The land. Since China is so big, there are many different land areas. Some areas are called plateaus. A plateau is a flat area that is higher than the other areas of the land around it. The Inner Mongolian Plateau is an area in China that has bitterly cold winters and very hot summers. The Tibetan Plateau is surrounded by rough, jagged mountains. Besides the plateaus, there are three other important areas in China. The North China Plain is a flat area that is surrounded by mountains on three sides. Central China also has lots of people and huge cities. Southern China is covered with rice fields. That's a rice field there. In the distance, you can see one of the many mountains that surrounds the Tibetan Plateau. Yeah, so they have really big mountains called the Himalayas, which have the tallest mountain in the world in them, Mount Everest, which is very, very tall. It's so tall, it gets so cold up, it's always cold up there, even when it's during the summer, so much that there's always snow on the top of Mount Everest. There's almost no air because it's getting closer and closer to space. Plants and animals. China has many different kinds of plants and animals. In fact, it is home to some of the world's most interesting creatures. One of the best known animals in China is the panda. It lives in the bamboo forest of southwestern China. Pandas eat bamboo plants that grow in the forest. Oh, cute little panda. Yaks are wild cows that live in the snowy mountain areas of China. They have long, shaggy hair that covers their bodies. This hair keeps them warm and dry. The yaks travel high in the mountains on dangerous paths. From far away, the big yaks look like boats on a white sea. That's why so many people call them the ships of the plateau. Oh, those are very big cows. Yeah. Long ago, China is a very old country. Until recently, it was ruled by kings called emperors. These royal families, emperors were born into families of rulers. These royal families were called dynasties. China may have been named for the Qin dynasty, like Qin or China. The first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, belonged to the Qin dynasty. Long ago, Qin Shi Huang built a wall across the northern China to keep out his enemies. This wall was almost 6,000 miles long. Today we call it the Great Wall. Almost half of it is still standing. Wow, that is a big wall. You can actually see, if you look really closely, if you're in space, it's so big that you can see it from space, which is crazy. China today. China's last emperor was a 6-year-old boy named Puyi. Many people disagreed with the way Puyi was ruling the country. In 1912, he and his government were overthrown by Dr. Sun Yat-sen of the National Republican Army. When people overthrow their rulers, it's called a revolution. In 1949, a new government under a man named Mao Zedong was formed. Mao, also in China, means cat because it's like the meowing sound, the meow. So sometimes some jokes are made about that. Just a fun fact though. This government believed in an idea called communism. Governments that practiced communism believed that property or stuff should belong to the whole country instead of individual people. China is one of the few countries today that still practice communism. That is, the other countries that still practice communism are Cuba and Vietnam, and that might be it. I think Laos might say it still practices communism. But yeah, there are not very many left. But China is a very big country, so there are a lot of people there. China has the most people of any country in the world. more than 1 billion. That's 4 times more than the people who live in the United States. With so many people, the biggest problem in China is making sure that everyone has enough to eat. All of China's people need food, but there just isn't enough for everyone. To keep the population from growing too much, the government has said that each family should only have one child. Um, so there are 56 different people groups in China. Most of them are Han Chinese, or sometimes you will hear the word in English Mandarin Chinese, which is more about the language that they speak. But the one child policy, where you can only have one kid, um, there were ways to like get a permit so that you can have more than one kid, and people who are ethnic minorities, like people who are Tibetan or Uyghur or Uyghur is the other name for them, or Mongolian, are allowed to have more than one kid. And I'm not sure if the one child policy is still in effect. I don't think it is. It might be though. It's loosened a little at least. City life and country life. More than 200 million people live in China's cities. Some city people live in large apartments and buildings. Others live in small houses with roofs. China's cities are so crowded that it is often easy to travel by bicycle instead of by car. Many people do travel on trains. Country life in China is very different from city life. Many country people live in houses with only a few rooms, a kitchen, a bedroom, and sometimes a bathroom. Most of them work as farmers. Other families live on small cargo boats called sampans. People who live on sampans carry goods up and down the river. In the mountain areas of China, uh, some people live in caves. They're not like cavemen. It's the caves are like nicer and like they kind of are made into a house. So just just in case I give you the wrong idea. Chinese children start school when they are 7 years old. They begin each day with 30 minutes of exercise. In school, Chinese people learn how to write when they are very young. They also learn how to do math by moving beads on an abacus. Abacus is a very old tool for counting. It's a very old kind of calculator. Almost everyone in China speaks Chinese, but they don't all speak it the same way. That means that a Chinese speaker from one area might not be able to understand the Chinese spoken in another area. Mandarin Chinese, or Han Chinese, or Hanyu, is the official dialect or type of Chinese in China. Mandarin is mostly spoken in the north. People in the south speak many kinds of Chinese, including Cantonese, Hokkien or Fujian, Taiwanese, Shanghainese. Uh, then there are also Mongolian languages, Tibetan, Uyghur, um, a whole bunch of different languages, right? But they all use the same kind of, or at least all of the Chinese people use the same kind of writing system. So they can communicate through writing things down, even if they can't understand what each other is saying. Work. More than half of all Chinese people are farmers. They grow rice, wheat, grains, and other crops like cotton and tea. They also raise pigs and chickens. Many Chinese farmers still do all their work by hand or with a plow pulled by an animal. China is growing and changing every day. Today, millions of people work in factories instead of farming. They make televisions, radios, video games, and even cars. They make clothes, shoes, sports equipment, and toys. The things China makes are sold all around the world. A lot of things that you might have a little thing on the bottom that says made in China, because there are a lot of people in China and they have a lot of factories there. So um, it's very likely that a lot of your stuff is made in China. Food. There are many different styles of food in China depending on where you go. In the southeast, you might find shark nest or you might find shark fin or bird's nest soup. Spicy dishes are popular in Yunnan and Sichuan areas of Western China. And across the continent, many Chinese people like to eat pork, beef, chicken, and vegetables, just like you. Chinese people serve many foods with rice or noodles. Instead of using forks, people eat with special sticks called chopsticks. Chopsticks are used by either scooping or pinching food to lift it up to a person's mouth. Chinese people also have their favorite drink with most meals, tea. China grows some of the best tea in the world. Um, there are Chinese people don't just use chopsticks. As you can see, there's also a spoon here. So chopsticks are only for certain food. Pastimes. People in China enjoy music, plays, movies, and sports. Ping pong, swimming, and volleyball, gymnastics, and soccer are all favorite sports. Another favorite table game is called mahjong. It is similar to the card game called rummy, but is played with small tiles instead of cards. Every morning, millions of people exercise by performing Tai Chi Chuan in parks and courtyards. Tai Chi Chuan is an ancient form of exercise that has 128 different movements. The movements are slow and graceful. Many people like to do some form of self-defense called wushu or martial arts. So you can see those people. I don't know if they're doing, yeah, they're doing martial arts there. Maybe they're playing soccer. You might like. Holidays. The Chinese people love holidays. The biggest celebration in China is the Spring Festival. Another name for this holiday is the Chinese New Year. It is celebrated in January or February. We talked a little bit about that in January or February. The actual date of the Chinese New Year depends on where the moon is in the sky. This date changes every year. China is an interesting place. It's home to many different kinds of plants and animals. There are hundreds of old buildings to visit, and China has some of the most beautiful countryside in the world. The Chinese people are polite to strangers and they welcome visitors from other countries. So if you ever go to China, be sure to smile. China will smile back. All right. Well, that is China, a country in East Asia. I'm going to try to keep, we're not going to have as many vocab words because we're going to try to get as many countries, as many regions as we can because Asia is so big. It is the biggest continent. So let us talk about the next region we're going to talk about. We will talk about West Asia. So the country from West Asia we're going to talk about is called Syria, which is this little one here. Yeah. So let's go to Syria. Around the world. Our world has many countries. Each country has beautiful land. It has its own rich history, and the people have their own languages and ways of life. Syria is a country in Asia. What do you know about Syria? Let's learn more about this place and its story. Oh, that's a cool castle in the background. Passport to Syria. Syria is located in a part of the world known as the Middle East or Western Asia. 5 countries border or touch Syria via Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, and Lebanon. And sometimes Palestine touches it. The borders for Palestine change a lot. So exactly where Palestine is changes. So sometimes it is touching Syria. More than 17 million people live there. Important cities. Damascus is Syria's capital. It also has its second largest, it is also its second largest city. More than 2.5 million people live there. The city is at least 5,000 years old. In ancient times, many groups fought to control the city and its trade. Today in Damascus, government and manufacturing take up large parts of the economy. Some people work by selling goods in outdoor markets. Wow, that is a big city. Syria's largest city. Oh, sorry, we didn't talk about capitals. I think I might have a picture up here for capitals. So capitals are where all of the government stuff or most of the government stuff happens in a country or in a state. So in, one sec. Let's see how you do. All right, so the capital, right, of the United States is Washington, D.C., which is where most of the government stuff happens. That's where the president lives, where Congress does stuff, where the Supreme Court does stuff. And then the capital of Minnesota is St. Paul. So that's where they have their Capitol building, where most of the government stuff happens. So Syria is, a lot of times it's the biggest city, but it isn't always. So in Syria, it's the second biggest city called Damascus. Right. Aleppo is the largest city. More than 3.5 million people live there. Aleppo is known for its narrow streets and outdoor markets. Since 2011, much of Aleppo has been destroyed in Syria's civil war. Thousands of people have left the city in search of safety. Homs is Syria's third largest city. About 1.6 million people call it home. Homs connects Syria's cities to the Mediterranean coast. The city's rich soil makes Homs a major farming area. These are some pictures of it. A civil war is a war where it's all in one country. So the United States had a civil war where it was um, all where it was a lot of the states in the south versus a lot of the states in the north. Where Syria had a civil war where it was part of Syria versus a different part of Syria. Syria in history. Syria has one of the oldest cultures in the world. People have lived in what is now Syria since at least 8,000 BC. You know how long that is ago? That's more than 10,000 years ago. It makes it maybe one of the oldest places in the world. Throughout its history, many kingdoms have taken over the land. Eventually, it was ruled by the Ottoman Empire. In 1920, France took over Syria. Syria gained its independence in 1946. However, a series of military leaders took over the government. In 1961, Syria became an independent state again. Oh, here are some pictures from of all the people going to Syria to trade things, because Syria is also kind of in the middle of the world, I guess. It's got it's in between Europe and Africa and Asia, so a lot of people come there to trade stuff. In the 1980s, Syria's economy began to slow. That means things like money. The population continued to grow despite a drought. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to skip the rest of this page. It's got some kind of big words that are kind of hard to explain. But yeah, an important symbol. Syria's flag was first adopted in 1958. The flag has red, white, and black stripes. There are two green stars in the white stripe. The country is a republic. The president is the head of the state. However, he or she acts with absolute power. The prime minister is the head of the government. Syria is divided into 14 provinces. This is a large section within a country, like a state. So some countries have provinces, some have states. It's kind of just what you call it. Here is Syria's flag, and here is who is Syria's president at that time. I don't think that's still the president, though. This book's a little old. Across the land, Syria has coastlines, mountains, plains, and valleys. High temperatures cause dust storms and droughts, which is when there isn't enough water. From 2006 to 2011, Syria had the worst drought in its history. Oof. A lot of things dry up. You can see those are some dead trees. Okay. Throughout Syria, olive trees, grapevines, apricot trees, oaks, and poplars are common. Poplars are a kind of tree. Fir trees also grow in the mountains. Date palms, remember we just talked about dates last story time, which are the kind of fruit, remember, are found in the valleys. Few wild animals live in Syria. Animals such as badgers, foxes, hyenas, and wolves live in far-off areas. Chameleons, lizards, and vipers are common in the desert. Huh. Forests make up only a small part of the country's total area. there's a whole bunch of different kinds of bugs though. So, life in Syria. Different groups of people were taken in when Syria separated from the Ottoman Empire. So Syria has a rich cultural history. In Syria, family is very important. People often visit a family member's home for meals. These are made with a wide range of ingredients. Garlic, lemon, onions, and spices are often used. It looks like some pretty good food. It makes me hungry. Like many Middle Eastern countries, soccer is a popular sport in Syria. There are sports stadiums in Aleppo and Damascus. Most people in Syria are Muslim. The two major groups of Muslims are the Sunni and Shia. More than 75% of the Muslims are Sunnis. Smaller religious populations also live in Syria, like Christians, and I think there are probably some people who still practice Zoroastrianism in Syria. So I think that's mainly a lot of that's in Iran. Famous faces. Many talented people are from Syria. Adonis is a Syrian Lebanese poet. He was born in Western Syria on January 1st, that's the first day of the year, 1930. At age 14, he recited a poem to the Syrian president. The president was impressed. He helped send Adonis to a French high school and Damascus University. During the 1960s, Adonis helped create a new form of Arabic poetry. Arabic is a language. Today, Adonis is considered one of the greatest Arab poets of all time. Wow. He created a whole different kind of poetry. Gada Shua is a Syrian Olympian. Shua was born on September 10th, 1973 in Maharda, Syria. She completed the heptathlon. This is a track and field sport event with 7 events. So she had to run 7 different things. In 1991, Shua competed in the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. That year, Shua won the silver medal of the Asian Games. That's what we're talking about, Asia. Then she competed in 3 straight Olympics. At the 1996 Olympic Games, Shua won Syria's first gold medal. She holds the 5th best heptathlon score in history. Wow, she got a lot of points. 7 different things. A great country. The story of Syria is important to the whole world. Syria is a land of ancient ruins and stunning coastline and amazing people. It is a country of people who are hoping to live in a peaceful and nice world. The people and places that make up Syria offer something special. They help make the world a more beautiful, interesting place. Oh. So it has a lot of cool ruins, but it also has a lot of cool stuff that's more new, like skyscrapers. Damascus and Aleppo and Hom are all very big cities, as we talked about. All right, so the next country we're going to talk about is called India. It is the biggest country in South Asia. We're just going to cover South Asia right now. So this is India. It is sometimes called the Indian subcontinent because it's so big and there are mountains both here and here. This is like where Mount Everest is. You have China and India and Nepal, and they're all around this huge mountains with the biggest mountains in the world. Let's see here. India is also called a peninsula because it has water it's almost an island, right? Except it has a little piece here connecting it to the rest of the land. Yeah. So without further ado, let's read some about India. So we have India is in Asia. It is shaped like a diamond. Bong, 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 bong. Yep. India takes its names from the Indus River. This river runs through Pakistan. which used to be a part of India. Yeah, needs to kind of, many people live in India. Only China, which we talked about earlier, has more people than India. Indians eat, sleep, play, and go to school like you. Life in India is also unique. Land. India has three main types of land. In the north of the country are the Himalayan mountains. These are the largest mountains and tallest mountains in the world. Wow, look, they all have snow on them, even though it's not snowing, because it's so cold up there and it's very close and it's very far away from the rest of, from, warm stuff down in there. The middle of India forms the largest plain in the world. The other part of India is a peninsula. It has high, flat mountains and many miles of beautiful seashore. So it has jungles, it has mountains, it has plains, all sorts of things. India is very big, very diverse. Landmarks. The Taj Mahal is India's most famous building. It was built 300 years ago in memory of a much-loved queen named Mumtaz Mahal. That is a very pretty building. The Ganges River is a long, wide river. To many Indians, it is a holy river. People pray and wash along the banks of the Ganges River. Homes. In the cities, people live in small apartments. Many poor people live in huts or tents or have no homes at all. It is very dangerous for these people during monsoon season. That's a very big city. All right. Most people, so monsoons are a special type of storm that happens during a certain time of the year in places like India, like South Asia and Southeast Asia around here. So let's look at, this is a picture of a monsoon. There's a lot of rain, which helps with farming and crops, but it also floods everything, which makes it also kind of difficult to have farming. So the people of India had to figure out how to use the monsoons to help them farm instead of making it very difficult to farm. All right. Yeah, let's go back here. Most people live in country villages. Some homes are made of bamboo or homemade clay bricks. Many large families live together in one building. Food. Many Indians eat only vegetables and seafood, which are cooked with fresh spices. Rice or bread is served with every meal. Indian breads are round and flat. A popular dish is tandoori, which is a meal cooked in a very hot clay oven. Another favorite is dal, a thick soup eaten with bread. Clothes. Most Indian women wear saris. They are cool and comfortable. They can be very plain for work or embroidered with beautiful colors for special days. They can be very plain or very fancy. Yeah. Some men wear loose pants called pajamas, which is where the word pajamas comes from. But farmers wear dhotis, which are made of cloths tied around their waists. In the cities, many people wear clothes similar to clothes you probably wear. So dhotis are nice because it gets very hot out there, and you're not going to anything fancy. So yeah, work. Most Indians are farmers. They grow rice, tea, sugarcane, wheat, fruit, and vegetables. They can grow 2 crops a year in the hot, wet weather. Some people work in factories and make cloth, computers, bicycles, and tools. Many people make and sell things from their own home. This guy makes little locks. Transportation. In the crowded streets, you will see trucks, cars, bicycles, rickshaws, which are these special bicycles with 3 wheels, kind of like tricycles, and people walking. Most trains and buses are so full that people ride on the roof. India's rivers are also very busy. Large and small boats carry people and cargo. Cargo is like stuff. So cargo might be food, or it might be parts for a machine, or any different kind of thing. Language. There are many different groups of Indian people. Each group has its own customs and beliefs. More than 75 languages are spoken in India. Hindi is the most important language in India. Um, or it's the most is the most spoken language. Important kind of probably just this person's opinion. Um, Hindi and English are taught in schools so that all Indians can speak to each other. School. Children go to school from ages 6 to 14. They study Hindi, English, math, history, and geography. Many children are too poor to go to school. Their families need them to stay at home. The children help them farm, or they ask for food or money on the street. Yeah. No. Many Indians enjoy a sport called cricket. Children play on the streets with a bat and a ball. It's kind of like baseball, but you like roll the ball, I think. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand cricket. It's played a lot in India and a lot in Britain or England. Other popular sports are field hockey, badminton, polo, and soccer. Badminton is kind of like tennis, but you don't bounce the ball, and it isn't really a ball. It's called a birdie. It's just kind of like a ball, but it's not quite. I have two people in my family who won the World Cup for badminton. So that's a fun fact about me. Movies are very popular in India. Indian movie stars are treated like heroes. Families enjoy amusement parks in the early evening. They have a very, India has a very important movie place called Bollywood, which is kind of like Hollywood in America, but there are a lot of different things about it. Celebrations. Each religion in India has many festivals. Diwali is the Hindu New Year. It lasts for 5 days, not 5 years. Ooh. Many lamps and fireworks make it a festival of light. Hindus also believe that cows are holy or special. The festival of Pongal honors them. The cows are washed, painted, and decorated with flowers. Oh, that's very nice. The arts. Many Indians enjoy making crafts from metal, wood, stone, or cloth. They use bright colors and detailed patterns in their paintings and clothes. The sitar, or the sitar, is a famous Indian instrument. It's like a guitar that has up to 26 strings. The guitar you might have seen usually has 6 strings. And that's enough for me. For me, I play a little guitar, but I can only deal with 6 strings, not 26. Or sometimes China has a kind of similar instrument, but it only has 2 strings. Sometimes people dance to sitar music. These dances often tell old stories. Oh. The capital is called New Delhi. All right. Well, we have one more book. I know that this has been a very long story time, so I thank you for keeping with me. It is on a Southeast Asian country called the Philippines. So Southeast Asia is between East Asia and South Asia. So it's in between like China and India. They used to call it Southeast Asia. They used to call it Indochina because it's in between India and China. But a lot of its culture is based around things from China, things from India, and things from the native people who live here. So a lot of people here practice Islam or Buddhism from India, or some of them practice Confucianism from China. The Philippines is a little different, as well as East Timor. Both are both mostly Christian countries. But yeah, you have religions coming and people coming from all over, mainly around here and here, and then also people native to there. So this is the Philippines. It's some islands in the Pacific, but they're not usually called part of the Pacific Islands. The Philippines. So here's a picture of all the islands of the Philippines in green. Yeah. It has more than 76 million people. The main languages are Filipino or Tagalog and English. Most of the people are Catholic, but in the south there's a lot of Muslim people, and there are older religions or older religions in a lot of the Philippines, including the mountains. The capital is up here called Manila or Manila. And yeah, the flag. The blue stripe on the Philippine flag stands for peace. The red stripe stands for bravery. The triangle represents the equality of the Filipino people. The three stars represent the country's three main regions. The north, south, and middle. The 8 rays of the sun's flag stand for the 8 Philippine provinces. A province is a region of a country, which we already talked about. We already talked about the provinces in Syria. Currency. The unit of currency in the Philippines is the peso. 100 centavos, like cents or pennies, make up 1 peso, which is like a dollar. Yeah. Land of the Philippines. The Philippines is a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean. More than 7,000 islands make up the Philippines. Only about 360 are bigger than a mile. Volcanoes formed all the islands long ago. A volcano is a hole in the Earth's surface. You know what volcanoes are, they like. Melted rock flows out of the hole when a volcano erupts. The rock hardens to form land. Some volcanoes in the Philippines still erupt. The two largest Philippine islands are Mindanao and Luzon. Mindanao is on the south end of the island group. Luzon is on the north end. The Philippines has 2 seasons. The dry seasons last from November to April, and the wet season is from May to October. Typhoons occur during this time. These storms bring powerful winds and heavy rains, much like monsoons in India. Life in the Philippines. About half of Filipinos live in cities. Most live in houses or apartments. Their homes are much like homes in North America or where you live. Many Filipinos live in rural areas away from cities and towns. Some Filipinos build their homes out of wood. They make roofs with palm leaves. They build their homes on tall, strong poles. This keeps the home safe during floods caused by typhoons. Floodwaters flow under the houses instead of through the houses. They're on stilts so that in case there's a flood, they're still okay. Many rural Filipinos are farmers. Filipino farmers grow sugarcane, which is what you make sugar out of, rice, and corn. They also grow coffee and cacao. Chocolate comes from the cacao seeds. So they make chocolate, sugar, rice, corn, coffee, a lot of things, a lot of important things. Fishers live near the shore. They fish in the morning and in the afternoon. They catch fish in large nets and then they sell them to markets. Going to school. The Philippine government requires children to attend grade school from ages 6 to 11. This education is free. Many Filipinos go on to 4 years of high school. Many continue their studies at universities. Students must attend both high school and must pay to attend both high school and universities. So high school in America is free, but universities or college is not free in America. In the Philippines, high school isn't free, and neither are universities. All right. Sorry about that. Students in the Philippines, schools learn social studies, math, science, and 2 languages. One language is Filipino or Tagalog. The other language is English. Both Tagalog and English are the official languages of the Philippines. Students attend school from June to March. They have vacation during April and May. These are the 2 hottest months or the kind of summer of the Philippines. Philippine food. Most Filipinos eat 5 times a day. They eat 3 meals. Many also eat during 2 snack times. Morning snack time is called Segundo, almuerzo. Uh, this means second breakfast. In Spanish, afternoon snack time is called uh, merienda. Rice is the main food in the Philippines. Filipinos eat rice with every meal. Filipinos also eat fish and meat. Adobo is a favorite dish of of Filipinos. Adobo is chicken and pork cooked with garlic and soy sauce. Lechon is another popular meal. Lechon is a type of roasted pig. Filipinos cook a whole pig over an open fire. Filipinos also eat halo-halo for dessert. This dish has dried fruit, custard, and crushed ice mixed together. Custard's just kind of like another name for ice cream. It's a little different, but it's basically the same. It's the kind of ice cream that they have at Culver's, if you've ever been there. Philippine clothes. Most Philippine clothes look like North American clothes. Most children wear cotton clothes. Cotton clothes help them stay cool. Boys wear jeans and t-shirts. Girls wear cotton skirts and tops. Most Filipinos wear traditional clothes. Some Filipinos wear traditional clothes. Many villages have different styles of traditional clothes. For example, people in the village of Marawi near Malongs wear malongs. Malong is a cloth tube. It's a cloth tube. People wear them like skirts. Many Filipinos wear traditional clothes for holidays. May wear a balin tawag. This is a long dress with puffy sleeves. A man may wear a barong Tagalog. This is the shirt made with fiber from pineapple plants. Wow, a shirt made of pineapple. That's kind of crazy. Animals in the Philippines. Many animals are native to the Philippines. Philippine eagles live throughout the country. Philippine cobras are deadly snakes. The tarsier is a small animal in the Philippines related to the monkey. Tarsiers have large eyes. They're kind of scary to me. Monkeys, bats, and wild pigs live in the Philippine rainforest. The Philippines, I think, has the largest bats in the world. They're like really big, real big. Very scary to me, but they only eat fruit, I think. Rainforests are thick woods in warm, uh, rainy places. Many types of deer also make their homes in the Philippines. Midget deer and mouse deer are small. Sambar are deer are large. Two kinds of buffalo are found in the Philippines. Tamaras are small wild buffalo. Water buffalo are large, strong animals. Some farmers use water buffalo to pull their heavy plows. Water buffalo can pull and carry heavy loads. Filipinos enjoy sports. Some popular sports are basketball, baseball, and boxing. Soccer is a popular sport too. Students play in these sports at school. Arnis and sipa are other sports that Filipinos enjoy. Arnis is a Philippine martial art. A martial art is a style of fighting for self-defense. We talked a little bit about this in uh, the book about China. Sipa players stand on either side of the net. They hit a ball over the net, but players must use only their knees and feet. Oh. Every year, Filipino athletes compete in the Philippine national games. Athletes compete in gymnastics, swimming, volleyball, and polo. Polo players use sticks to hit ball into goals. Most polo players ride horses. Sounds interesting. Holidays in the Philippines. Filipinos celebrate 2 New Year's holidays. They have parties on these special occasions. January 1st is the Philippine New Year. Filipinos also celebrate the Lunar New Year, which we've talked about before. This holiday is in late January or early February. Filipinos celebrate both holidays with parties and fireworks. Filipinos make lanterns for Christmas celebration. They use bamboo plant stems to make lantern frames. Filipinos cover the frames with colored paper. They place a light inside of the lanterns, and then children carry the lanterns in Christmas parades. Each Philippine village has a party called a fiesta once a year. A big parade is part of the fiesta. Filipinos make many foods there. You often eat lechon and halo-halo for the festival. All right. Sorry that was a very long book, but we are done with the books for Asia, and we will do our craft, and then I will see you, I don't know when, in quite a while, I think, though. So goodbye. I'll see you in a second, and then I'll say one more public goodbye. Hi, everyone. I'm back. So for our last project of the year, we're going to be doing a tanagram. So a tanagram is a type of kind of puzzle thing from China. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut out the whole tanagram. And there should be a link of where to find a tanagram so you can print it out for this activity. So now we have this part cut out, and then we're going to cut along all the little lines. So we're going to cut out each of the shapes. Use both. Yeah. Just one more cut here. All right. Now we all have all of our little shapes. So we have all of our little shapes. And now what we're going to do is, right, I'm going to do this here so that we can see it easier. So we'll have all these little shapes. And now what we can do is we put them together in different ways to make different things. So we'll put, okay, let's try to put, we'll turn this around a little, like that, okay? And then we'll get, okay, let's move this around. Oh, wait, it's the wrong inch. It should be um, like this. And then move this one back over here like this. Okay. We'll put one of these on top of here. And we'll put this one, oh, put, stick this one through, put this one here. We will put this one here. Okay, let's move this one a little bit farther down. Move it over a little bit. Let's actually use this one, blue one. And we'll slide it to the edge. And then we'll move this here, that there, this, oh, like this. And this, like that. And we'll use this last one. And it's a camel. You see, I've just followed this one. Let's try a couple more. So let's try the shark now. Ooh, they have a boat as well. Let's do the fish or the shark first. So the first thing is we have the little shark head. Right, you see that there. Then the next thing, okay, is it's like this. Oh, this one goes upside down like that. Oh, like this. More like that. This goes like that. Okay, next step, we're going to add the little bit to start its tail. And then it says to make this, oh, make this, make its tail go up a little bit. You put this part on the end here. And then we add the last little fin. Looks kind of like a shark or a fish. I don't know. All right, let's try a couple more. Let's do the rocket. The rocket looks pretty easy. So the first thing we're going to do, I think, should be to make the square part. Oh, okay. And then we will put the hat on it. Little rocket top. Let's move it over there so we can see it better. Then we have the bottom. Then we have, I don't know if that one's right. We'll just leave it there for now though. Remind us. Okay, looks like I put this one upside down. There. And, oh, oh, wrong way. There, we have a rocket ship now. And let's try. We could do the horse, the swan, or house, or a fox, or boat. Let's do the horse. The horse looks a little difficult, but I think we can do it. So that's the tail and the back part of the horse. If you're in a horse costume, this would be the part that one person would be in. Okay. We're going to put this is its front hooves. Hoof. This goes way up here is the head, and this is its neck. And these canogram puzzles come from China, which is a country we talked about today. So we have a little horse and it's standing up. Right. Let's do maybe an airplane. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a different kind of camel. Or what do you think that is? Is it like a lizard? Or a tree? Let's do one last one. Let's do the ship together. And then I will let you guys try out some other ones if you want. There we go. There we go. Okay. Building this sail right now. Oh, whoa. You're probably having an easier time with them in real life than I am having on here. There. Now we have the sail built. We just have to build a little boat part. Okay, it shows. Ah! Put that there. We put this here. It's a little boat. This looks like it goes, the sail should go up a little higher. It says, yeah, it's a little boat. Actually, I'll do one more with you. Let's do the crane. I think the crane is one of them that's very considered like one of the classic ones. I think some of them might be newer these days. Oh, we'll move this so I can bring this one out. So I'm starting with the head right now. You can kind of start with whatever part you want, you know. Okay. So we're working on its little neck. Okay. And what's next? Okay, this triangle. It looks like this triangle is the smaller blue one, because the other two triangles look really big. And then the two big triangles. So one of them goes like this, then the other one goes upside down and connect like this. And it's the crane, or the swan. I don't really know. It's some kind of, maybe it's even a duck. It's a bird on the water. All right, well, that is all I have for you today. I will see you in quite a while. It's going to be a little bit before I see you guys again, but I will see you guys again. Bye, everyone.